Hey everyone, in this video I want to talk to you about what makes up a true alpha male. So I'll be sharing with you some qualities that I've noticed all the best men out there have in common. So think of this video as kind of like a roadmap for becoming a true alpha yourself. So let's jump right into it. The first thing here is that a true alpha is not insecure. So now, they will be insecure to some extent, but what I really mean here is that they've done enough work on themselves that they trust in themselves, they know themselves really well, so that they won't overcompensate due to insecurities. Meaning, there are a lot of men out there who overcompensate by acting tough and being incredibly loud and boisterous, and they act and think that they're an alpha, but they truly aren't. They're anything but an alpha because they're ruled by their insecurity. True alphas do not get triggered by other men in bars and immediately want to fight that other guy. That's not the way they are. They're going to feel that emotion, that anger when they get triggered by another dude, but they're not immediately going to act on their emotions and start a fight. So, it's important that you work on your insecurities and just work on yourself in general. Get to know yourself so that you can trust yourself really well and just know what you bring to the table and know how you're capable of protecting yourself. There's a really interesting thing out there where the strongest men, the men who have trained the most in like hand-to-hand combat and things like that, jiu-jitsu and whatnot, or even just with firearms, have you ever noticed how these men have this kind of quiet confidence to them where they never feel the need to prove themselves to other people? They're never going to shove in your face the fact that they're a black belt in jiu-jitsu or whatever it may be. They just confidently walk around and know that if somebody tries to start any kind of physical confrontation with them, they trust in themselves to be able to handle it, but they don't go out looking for fights. So this is a huge quality of a true alpha. They are not ruled by insecurity, so they don't feel the need to prove themselves to other people and act all boisterous and loud all the time in that regard. Now, the next thing here, which I hope you saw this one coming, because this is actually a very important quality of a true alpha. They are kind. Let me say that again. True alphas are kind. They aren't rude people. They genuinely care about other people. In fact, so much so that they're the kind who are willing to actually basically stand up to bullying if they see it happening to someone else. True alphas treat everyone with kindness and respect unless that person has proven that they aren't deserving of such treatment. But in general, the way that they by default treat other people is with kindness. So this is very important as well. If you aren't kind to everyone, then you need to work on that. Actually genuinely care about your fellow man. Become curious about them as well, so that way it helps you treat them with more kindness because you'll care about them more. If you're curious about everyone you encounter, then naturally you'll treat them more like a human being because you're actually thinking about their perspective. So be kind. This is what makes true alphas magnetic to everyone because they treat everyone with kindness, so people love them because they like being treated like a human being. So never think that alpha men are unkind. That is bullshit. Any man who doesn't treat everyone with kindness is not a true alpha, and no matter what he says. So remember, treat everyone with kindness. Now on to the next thing. They are in tune with their emotions. I hope you saw this one coming as well, because so many of us men are basically kind of conditioned by society not to show our emotions to other people, to kind of suppress them and shove them down and hide them and act like we can handle everything that life throws at us and that we're completely unfazed by everything in life. But we know that's not the case. We're human like everyone else. We feel emotions. So don't be afraid to be in tune with your emotions. Now, the important part here is to feel your emotions, but not act on them. This is what separates true alphas from other men. They can handle feeling their emotions without being overruled by them. There are so many other men out there who proclaim themselves to be alphas, but they're not because they're the kind who get triggered in those bar fight scenarios. True alphas aren't going to act on their emotions in that scenario. So if they do end up getting triggered by some random drunk guy, they're going to feel that frustration, that anger at whatever he may have said to him or his girlfriend or his friends, but they're not immediately going to act on those emotions by then punching the guy in the face. No, he's going to feel those emotions and he's going to recognize that, but he'll, instead of immediately punching the guy, he'll think, okay, I need to take a few deep breaths while I'm feeling this anger and frustration so that I don't end up punching this guy and ending up in the jail overnight. So that's what he'll do. He'll take a few deep breaths, he'll ground himself, and then he'll confront the guy with words rather than physically. So this is important. Learn to master that gap between stimulus and response when it comes to your emotions, where your emotion is the stimulus and your response is obviously you taking action on that emotion. There's a gap there, so maximize it as much as possible. Practice meditation and deep breathing techniques so that's what you can do in those situations. So then when you get triggered by someone, start breathing deeply and slowly so you can ground yourself and then think, okay, what is the best thing to do in this situation? Should I actually act on this emotion? Should I punch this person? Or maybe should I just hold back and try talking things out with them? Maybe this person is just having a bad day. Maybe their life isn't going the way that they expect it to, so they're feeling all sorts of emotions. And maybe just talking it out with them is the right thing to do, because if we start punching each other, we'll both end up in jail and it won't solve anything. So this is an important quality of being a true alpha. You need to feel your emotions. So that's the healthy thing to do, because you don't want to repress them, because then all you're going to be doing is like basically planting a bunch of time bombs that will go off God knows when you get triggered enough times. So you don't want to suppress your emotions. You want to feel them so that they can be released, but you don't want to act on them in the moment. So just delay action and just feel your emotions and breathe while you're feeling them. And then you'll notice they'll run right through, they'll be released, and they'll be gone. And then you'll be able to act in a clear manner, or should I say, with a clear head, so that you don't act on those chaotic emotions. Anyway, on to the next thing. Here's another good one. True alphas have integrity. So this basically means they do what they say, or yeah, they basically they do what they say they will, and they have a good, strong moral code. So basically, they're going to live up to that moral code no matter what situation they're in. If they're surrounded by a ton of other people who think differently than them, if they believe that this one way of acting is the right thing to do, they're going to do that thing even if all these other people over here think that that's the wrong thing, because maybe they're raised differently, or they're just, in some situations the crowd can be a bit dumb. So they're going to do the right thing regardless of what situation they're in. That even means when they're on their own and there's nobody around to see their actions. They're going to do the right thing even in those situations. For instance, if you're leaving the gym and you find a wallet on the ground, a true alpha is going to pick that wallet up and walk back into the gym and say, hey, look, somebody lost this, so if you have a lost and found here in your gym, please hold on to it for them and see maybe if there's contact info and you can return their wallet to them, that sort of thing. Whereas a not alpha male is going to find that wallet on the ground, look around and see if anybody saw him pick it up, and if nobody did, he's going to pocket it and keep going and steal that person's money and God, maybe even their credit card and other information. So that is what I mean. Have integrity, have a strong moral code, and live up to it. Do the right thing, even when nobody is there to watch your actions. You need to basically, in those situations, police and guide yourself. Don't wait on other people to do that for you. Because if you wait for others, you're basically only then doing the right thing for validation and attention, like those morons on TikTok and other social media who film themselves doing good things only because they're looking for attention and validation from people. You don't want to be one of them. Those people have a messed up moral code. You need to do the right thing, and you don't need to film yourself doing it. That's BS. But anyway, that was a bit of a tangent. So on to the next thing, which is actually one of my favorites. True alphas are strong both physically and mentally. You have to basically take care of both of these aspects of yourself, your mind and your body. They're not disconnected, so never think of them as separate entities. They very much work together, and you want to be strong in both regards. You want to be physically strong, you want to work out, go to the gym, take care of yourself and become stronger, lift weights. Because here, it's important to be able to perform at your peak physically. That helps you protect the people you care about, because if you're not physically fit, how the hell can you? All it takes is finding some man who's stronger than you, and he can overpower you and either potentially kill you or the people you care about, or God only knows. It's just not good to be physically weak, because then there's so many things in life that you won't be best prepared to handle them. And the same thing with mental strength. Yet again, here, this is incredibly important because you never know what life will throw at you. You need to be prepared to handle all of life's storms, because it's just a matter of time before the next one hits you. We all know life is unpredictable, and inevitably with the good things there will be bad things, and you need to be prepared to handle any of it, because you never know just what will be thrown your way. It could be the loss of a loved one that you deeply care about. It could be you ending up in an accident that could hurt you for a good long while, or you never truly know what it could be. It could even be a traumatic incident where you're walking somewhere at night one time and some random dude tries to rob you at knife point or even gunpoint. You just never know what life will throw at you, so you need to be mentally strong so you can handle anything as well. And thankfully, there's a cool thing here where when you work on your physical strength, you naturally will acquire mental strength to some degree as well. When you train physical strength, you basically get the added benefit of training yourself mentally, because it's pretty difficult to be consistent and dedicated to going to the gym without some form of mental strength. I mean, we all know when you're working out, you're literally tearing your muscles when you work out, when you do exercises. You're tearing your muscle fibers. So it's not always a fun experience. So you practice mental strength when you're working out just because you push through those periods where you're thinking, oh my God, this sucks. Like, I don't want to be doing this, but you do it anyway. So just naturally, go to the gym and you'll notice that your mental strength will level up as well. But those two things are very important, and they tie in with the next and last thing I'll be sharing here, which is true alphas are willing to go to battle to protect the people they care about, the people that they love. And if you want to truly protect your family or your friends or the people you care about, you need to be physically and mentally strong. You need to be able to handle anything yet again, or especially those scenarios where you encounter evil or bad people. They exist. They're out there. I know that in today's world we live pretty charmed lives, and for the most part we're disconnected from the evil people. We don't experience them enough every day to remember that they're out there. We live pretty freaking amazing lives. But you have to realize that doesn't mean evil people don't exist. They're still out there, and we know that. Terrorism is still a thing in today's world. There are still evil leaders out there who are just steps away from causing World War III eventually, and hopefully it never comes to that, but it could easily happen. There are just so many things going on in the world right now. So you need to be prepared to protect the people you care about. The example I like to think of the most is, if you plan on having a family, or if you already have one, you need to be willing to literally, I hate to say it, but it's the truth. You need to be willing to kill people to protect them if it ever comes to that, or even animals if you're out in the forest somewhere. But basically my point here is you need to be willing to protect your loved ones, because you just never know what life will throw at you. And if it ever throws an evil person your way on your path through life, I hope to God you're prepared to handle that. Because I know most of us won't encounter that in our lifetimes, thank God. Like I said, we live charmed lives. But if you end up unfortunately lucking out and encountering one of those people, you better be prepared to handle that situation. They are out there. They truly are. I know that we like to hide that fact, but they are. So you need to be prepared to handle them. And that means taking care of yourself physically and mentally so that you can be in the right headspace for those things and have the physical strength to protect yourself. That may even mean carrying a pocket knife on you or some form of self-defense. Maybe even if you are lucky enough to live in a place that allows concealed carry, carry a gun on you, because that gives you the best method for protecting yourself and your loved ones. There's nothing better than that, really. That's why those things were created in the first place. Well, also for hunting, but truly they were made to kill evil people. They really are. They're meant... Okay, I won't get too far into this because I understand how it can be a bit triggering, but yet again, these people are real. They're out there, so you need to be able to handle them. and you just also have to have that instinct within you to literally be willing to take down these evil people to protect your loved ones. You truly need that in you. I know that in today's world, we likely won't really need to utilize those skills much, but if you ever have to, you better have them. Anyway, I'll get off my soapbox in that regard, but I truly believe that. I hate how talking about that is almost triggering to some people nowadays, especially the gun thing, because it literally is the best way of protecting yourself and your loved ones. Like, I don't care what people say, they truly are, and you just, yeah. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope that these qualities that I've shared with you have kind of shed light on what it takes to be a true alpha. In fact, I don't even like the term alpha because it gets thrown around so much and people don't even really know what it means anymore because of that fact. I like to call them extraordinary gentlemen because they're extraordinary, they're rarefied, they stand out from the rest, but they're gentlemen at the same time. They treat others with kindness and respect, and they genuinely care about their fellow human being. So, they're extraordinary and they're gentlemen simultaneously. And that's just a fun term I like to throw around because, yeah, the word alpha just is used way too much, and it's kind of a bad term nowadays because of all those fake alphas who ruin the term completely. But anyway, I truly hope this video has helped you, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Arrivederci!